Tesla's going to release after the bell today its quarterly results. Analysts will be listening for an update on a lot of things: autopilot, safety issues, increasing competition, and delivery forecasts. But what about the stock? It's gained over 400% over the past 12 months. What is it? What do we need to see to justify that? Dan Ives is managing director at Wedbush Securities. It's an interesting discussion to have, Dan, because what do you have as the multiple? What do you got, 85 times or something? It depends on whether you look ahead or behind, but let's say it is 85 times. So you have to assume that the company is a lot more than just a car company, and that's fine. And you point out, Apple didn't just make, they changed from just a computer company to what they are today, so that's possible. But what is the most important thing to hear tonight? Is it projected deliveries? And you think they could blow that out or forecast 900K or something? What do you think is likely?
Yeah, I think ultimately that's the key. It's really delivery guidance for 2021. Before line the sand was 800,000. And now, despite all the skeptics, competition, chip shortage issues, I believe we could now be starting to go toward 900,000. If that ultimately comes out tonight in terms of some sort of goalpost, I ultimately think this is just the next step in the stock going toward 1,000 because, and you point out all the points, it's a green tidal wave. 3% automobiles or EV today. We believe China, that's the linchpin of their success, and I think that's what's really going to come out tonight. That's the focus for the bulls.
And you think the EV tax credit, the ceiling actually, instead of weaning us from that, we're going to continue just to feed it? And you think it could go to 10,000 from they need it, right? You couldn't do it without it, from 7,500, right?
Well, that's the one thing. You take a step back as part of the Biden infrastructure plan and all the green energy and initiatives. It all comes down to EVs. And that's 30% of emissions comes from transportation. 7,500 is the EV credit today. We believe that gets up to 10,000, which is key about incentivizing consumers. But the big one for Tesla and GM right now have a ceiling. 200,000 was the ceiling. They've hit it. So you don't get those tax credits. We believe as this goes through the hill, that gets removed, tax credit gets restored. And it's important because we talk about the green tidal wave. The U.S. has lagged significantly. That starts to come in along with Europe and China. I mean, then you really start to see the success hit, not just Tesla, but the overall EV ecosystem, which we view as a $5 trillion market the next decade.
I mean, I want to talk quickly about Plaid because the S-Plaid, under 2 seconds, 0 to 60. That gets my attention, but I don't know if I wanted. When would you do that? Where and when and why and how do you do that safely? How do you go 0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds? And why would you even want to?
Yeah, and obviously those ride popping numbers. And for Tesla, the success continues to be not just Model 3, Model Y, and others, but I think what you're seeing on this is just the technology that continues to come out of Fremont and Giga that's really changed the industry. But they have to continue to make sure that they're courting all their customers, even though the masses continue to be focused on Model 3, Y, and of course the drumroll, the Cybertruck.
Yeah, I think about that, and I mean, I'm attracted to it, but then I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to be able to do that. I just don't know if I really want. That's just, with great power comes great responsibility. A very famous philosopher once said that. What about what do we worry about in terms of self-driving? And that's what gets the headlines.
Yeah,
Autopilot.
That'll come up tonight. I mean, clearly in terms of Q&A. But I think for Musk, I mean, obviously they're going to have to limit what they could talk about, given it's a pending investigation. But I think they've talked about the safety records. And if you look at autopilot and what we've seen with the FSD, that's something that's going to continue to get pushed out in terms of from a regulatory perspective. But I think Musk has talked about it. I mean, this is really something that from a safety perspective, they're going to have to continue to focus on. Obviously, bright spotlight. But right now, if you look, I mean, their track record has kind of spoken for themselves, even though some of these tragic issues.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.